my name is Sarah. I'm with Adding It All Up. Welcome to my channel. I am a cash budgeter. I am an accountant, tax accountant by day, and YouTuber at night. So I wear a couple hats. I just wanted to come on here. I know it's been a week since I posted my last one, but I wanted to finish up my OBDJ. I had it right the first time. Our different budget journeys. Oh, it just sounds like a bad word some days, right? ODBJ. Anyway, so I wanted to finish it up, and where I had left off at was we were talking about the fourth one, which was struggles. So budgeting, you're going to have struggles, right? I mean, if you guys are seeing this after, I'm sure it's still the same struggles that a lot of people have. It's a practice, right? It ends up being a practice after a while because you're never good at anything at the beginning of it, right? I'm an accountant and I do, budgets for people. I help them with money. I help them save money on their taxes. So when you think of it that way, I mean, what would I have to struggle with, right? Like I should know this stuff already. No, there's lots of struggles that come. So the biggest one, and I wrote some down here on this piece of paper. So the biggest one for me has actually been, if I'm going to be honest, it's probably a fear of getting into debt, right? So me and my husband were a lot of debt. We paid it all off. Then we got back into some debt. Then we paid it off. And now we're back into a little bit of a debt. So we're trying to pay it off. So when you think about it that way, it's fearful. The struggle is that we're going to get back into debt. And it's hard because of inflation and, food costs more now, gas is more, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Housing is more, CPI index, which is the consumer price index, has gone up. There's all these different factors that come into play, right? So some of the struggles are from outside forces, right? So your struggles come from outside forces, which you can't control sometimes, right? Like you can't control that. You can't control, however, how much you're eating out. That is something you can control. Another thing that you can control is you can control like how many times you actually go to the store. So these things are factors that are within your control, but the other outside factors, some of the struggles do come from external struggles. Some of my internal struggles that I have is basically that debt. And then also, I'm always worried that we're going to rack up more credit card debt. So that is just, I almost have a visceral reaction now when I have to put something on a credit card. I'm like, whoa, like I don't even want to put it on the credit card because I want to pay my debt off. I don't want it on there. There's good debt and bad debt, and we'll get into that later. But the struggle with that is that I don't want to put it on the card because I'm worried I'm going to have that problem again, right? Because we've already shown that it's like a yo-yo. The other thing is that you can be, when you first start your debt budget journey, this is probably the most important. People don't know where to start. So the struggle sometimes is how do I even budget? Like within this budget, like how does this even work? Which I went over how to budget at one point in time. But there's a lot of different budgeting methods that you can use. So again, that struggle of how do I budget can kind of lead into indecisiveness a little bit of what should I do. And people that have variable income, that struggle is hard. So I have a salary, so I know how much money is going to come home every 2 weeks. Like I know how much money my husband's going to get every month. So we're on salary. So that right there is my baseline, right? Like that's the baseline. That if I don't get another dollar over that stuff that's over that is extra gravy on top, right? So I look at that like that way. I look at it like it's extra. And my salary is my baseline. We're actually trying to decrease the quote unquote salary so that there's extra over so we can throw it to debt, right? Like that's our ultimate goal that we're kind of looking for. So that struggle is hard because let's say you get $500 one week, and like if you're in a variable income, if you get $500 one week and $1,000 the next week, and then you get, you know, $1,700 the next week, it's hard. It's hard to say, like, how do I budget? Like, how does this even work? You know, that struggle is real because you feel like Midas one day and you feel like a pauper the next, right? The next week. So that struggle is really hard to budget. So that's what I mean, like that struggle would be that. The other thing is why I said you have inside and outside factors, you know, that kind of play in on your struggles as a budgeter. So like impulse buying, shopping, you know, who here doesn't like a good Target run? I love Target. It's like my favorite place to go. And I don't know why. I just like it. The store's cleaner. It's not Walmart, not bashing Walmart. Like Walmart's got its place. But if I have to choose between Target and Walmart, I'm choosing Target all day long. Even though stuff there is more expensive. I think it's because I don't have to wait in line. People are just not as angry where I'm at. It seems like when you go into Target, people are happy. Like they're not angry. When I go to Walmart, I always feel like everyone's so angry when you get there because everything's just so depressing. It's just the stores aren't light and bright. They're not airy. It's just like against your senses, right? It's like, oh, doom and gloom. And you're not, if you're shopping at Walmart, honestly, you're not, I know I shop at Walmart a lot too, but when I go there, I mean, I know what I need. I know what I want. I'm getting in, I'm getting out. I'm not trying to spend all afternoon in Walmart, right? I'm trying to make it easy, in and out, cheap, bottom line. That's their deal anyway. But Target, when you go in there, it's like, it's an experience, right? You're like, ooh, there's the dollar spot, which is now like 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20. I think I even saw like $20 throw pillows in there the other day. The dollar spot. I'm like, how's that the dollar spot? Whatever. And it's just clean, it's bright, it's white, it's airy, it's fun, you know, and then there's all these fun aisles you can go down, and they make it fun for you. It's like candy for your eyes, right? So you're always looking, you're like, ooh, do I really need another pin? I think I do. You know, do I really need another dress? I think I do. Oh, this fabric is so comfy. Look at this cute, I love the PJs from Target. I am obsessed with them. If you ask my husband, I have an addiction to PJ pants. So, and who doesn't like a good pair of spandex pants? But when you're looking at it from a budgeting, that struggle is real, right? That impulse buy is real. Because you just throw another $20 in what's the big deal? It's just $20. It's just $20. That $20, if you go every single week over a month, that's a lot of money. That's $80. 4 weeks in a month, 5 weeks in a month, that's $100. I don't know about you, but I could use $100 in my food budget. I could use $100 in my household budget. But I just spent $100 on crap that I don't really need, that no one ever really wants. But in the moment, it made you feel good, right? So that's some of the struggles I have with it. My kids are all grown guys, so I know when I had my daughter, we used to have this thing. So we go to the store, and she would always want all this stuff. She's like, oh, Mom, I really want those Pokemon cards, or, oh, Mom, I really want that, you know, shorts, or I want this, or I want that. And I would look at her and go, is it a want or a need? And she'd be like, oh, I just need it, Mom, you don't understand. So I'm like, no, I think you kind of want that, you know, instead of like, oh, that's what she would say. Oh, I need those Pokemon cards. I'm like, are you going to die without them? Like, is it like, I don't understand. But it was something she really wanted, right? So we have this conversation about want and need all the time. And that even now, my daughter's grown, you know, she's a grown woman. She's 26 years old. So I look at it and I go, okay, is this something you want or something you need, Sarah? I even look at my husband. I'm like, that a want or a need? I don't think so. You don't need that. He might tell you he needs it, but I don't think he needs it. Or he might say, or I might say, oh, I really need that. And he'll be like, you don't need that. You want that. So we really talk about wants and needs in our family a lot, like when we're shopping. And we'd rather do experiences. We always have been that way, than things. But the things just come, right? Like they just come, like we end up like doing stuff with them, and it sucks. So that's why I'm selling everything out of my basement, because I really don't need any more things. So, the other thing is the struggle is with financial goals. So if you don't have a goal and you don't write it down, then it doesn't really happen, right? So that struggle is real when you're budgeting, especially when you're first budgeting and when you're not budgeting. That struggle is hard, to get some financial goals down on paper. So I tell people, don't have a summit, just have a meeting. Like if you have a significant other, you should have just a meeting. Like, what are your goals? Like, what are both of your goals? What do you want to get out of this budget? No matter how you're budgeting, if you're cash budgeting, if you're 70, 10, 20 budgeting, if you're 30, 30, 30, 30, 10 budgeting, if you're 60, 30, 10 budgeting, if you're zero-based budgeting, cash budgeting, there's just so many different budgets you can use, right? So that's where it's like really overwhelming sometimes, to struggle to figure out which one you should use. But I just tell you, just start. You'll figure it out. Like I'm still learning, guys. Now that the budget mom said that she's not going to bring out her book this month, I actually stopped for a couple weeks because of my job and because of my businesses and what I do. And so the problem is that I don't have a budget worksheet anymore, which really sucks. So I'm like revamping how I'm budgeting again. So I refuse to buy the digital product line. I am a pen and paper kind of girl. I just feel I do better with pen and paper. Do I print things out? Absolutely. Do I want to print out her budget workbook and get it bounded? I really did think about it. But to be honest, I don't have time. So I'm willing to pay for that to happen, right? Like I'm willing to look at the time factor for me was worth it for me to order it directly from her and then have it come already done. I really love physical products sometimes because honestly, sometimes I just don't have the time to put it in my binder and do, because I want to do other things. So I use my Silk and Sonder a lot, which I'm starting to use this month. So for budgeting, and I'm just playing with a couple things to see what it is. Again, it's a struggle, right? Because if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So I actually have not, again, for one whole week, did anything with my finances. And so I've got to do that. I've got to look at October and see where we're landing. We're almost at the 15th of the month, and I have no clue what I did in October, and that's not good. So that struggle right there that you see is real. There's a part of me that's like, I don't want to see it because I'm fearful, because I know I did not do well in October. So it's kind of like, if I can ostrich it, it'd be better. But I know I did do okay in October. I just stopped because we had so many tax returns to do. So like the first week in October, I did amazing. The second week in October, oh, it went out the window. The third week in October, it was still out the window. My fourth week in October, I was like, what happened here? So there's just so many things that I haven't been able to do because I just haven't had the time. So that's another thing, the struggle with time. So what you put on your calendar gets done, right? So I have to time block for myself, and I have not, if I'm honest with myself, I have not time blocked probably in about a month. So I need to get back to that practice of time blocking. because it really does help. It's just like budgeting. You are budgeting your time for your day. I know it sounds so restrictive and weird, but it actually does work. So I will tell you guys, there's a lot of struggles and we can sit here and complain about it all day long. But I just want to be real with you that it's hard. It's not easy all the time. And just when you think you've got it conquered, something else kind of throws its ugly head in the way, and it's okay. It's still going to be okay. So we just have to remember to give ourselves as much grace as possible most of the time, and not to be too hard on yourself, especially if you're just starting to do budgeting. And embrace the struggles, because those struggles are going to make you a better budgeter. They're going to make you a better person. And they're going to make you just be able to enjoy that much more in the end game. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you made it all the way to the end, I would really, really like you to hit the like button, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. All right. Thanks. Bye.